we just please rewind and start with who first inspired you to play football?
Do you know, that's a really, really good question. I think I'm just from a footballing city in general. I grew up around a lot of males in my family, uncles, cousins, a lot of male-dominated family. So red half, blue half of the family, and I've just always loved sport and being outside and active, and I just fell into football and absolutely loved it. So I wouldn't say there was a single person who inspired me to play, but I guess the city I'm from probably inspired me a lot.
And when you talk about that, you talk about a lot of men, but still you felt that there was a place for you and that you were able to play alongside them and follow them.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think I've spoken about this quite openly in the past, that unfortunately a lot of women and players now speak about stories where they didn't feel comfortable to play with boys and in school or on a weekend, but I really didn't have the same experience. I was very welcomed by boys in school, and like I said, I had a very male-dominated family who absolutely loved football, and I had this little girl who also loved football, so they just took me under their wing and looked after me, never made me feel uncomfortable, to be honest, at all, and I'm really grateful for that.
And when you say about being taken under the wing, who was it that first kind of nurtured that talent and encouraged you to play?
Well, it was my mum's brother, really, who was like, we need to take Alex to mini kick, as it was called. There's a place in Bootle where you go on a Saturday, a weekend, and it's just under 8s, under 12s, under 14s, 16s and so on. And I was really, really little at that point, but I had a lot of energy, and I think my mum did not have a clue what to do with me. So I think at first my mum was a bit like, there's no way Alex is playing football, and my uncle was like, just let her go and see if she likes it, and the rest is history, really.
Never look back. And I guess that was at the start of your career, but when you look back over the last few years, who else has helped to nurture that talent? I imagine there's been a few different people along the way. Yeah,
and I could go into a lot of detail about a lot of people, but I think initially Mo Marley was someone who was really influential in my early years in terms of at Everton. She was, and still is actually, someone who I admire a lot. She took the time out of her life to make sure I got to football on time, and her husband Keith as well, who played a huge part in my early days, and like I said, now we still speak a lot. Actually, we literally spoke yesterday, and she's a really great person. And then obviously on the flip side, I have incredible family. I'm really fortunate that I've got a supportive family. My mum is someone who has never said no to me, you know. Whether it was she had to do 3 jobs to take me somewhere, then she would do that. And again, I am really grateful. And I suppose if you fast forward a little bit, more recently, I've probably had managers who have played a massive role in very different ways, given me different opportunities. Serena, for example, probably doesn't know it, but has played a huge role in the later years of my career, probably without even realising how much she has, to be honest.
I'm sure there's lots of moments to choose from, but can you pick what's been your highest point in your career so far?
The one that always probably springs to mind immediately is the Euro 22 at Wembley against Germany. That one, because it was the first one and it was at home, but then obviously the one just gone, 25, right? Yeah. 25?
Yeah,
I get lost with the years, I'm sorry. The Euro win then was also just as incredible in a very different way. Obviously it was in a different country, how we did it, against the opposition that we did it against. It's just more like a moment that I can never describe to anyone. Like the feeling I have when the final penalty went in, or the final whistle has blown, it's almost like it's not your body.
Wow.
And the noise at Wembley was just something. I would do anything to relive the moment all over again, because it was just incredible. If you'd have come into our breakfast area that day, you would never think we'd about to play in the Euro final.
Like, was it so relaxed? Or?
It was so relaxed, so calm. It was just like we just woke up for the training day, which is definitely a reason why we won. And similar to the previous Euros, we were really really driven and knew what we were going to do, so everything else took care of itself. I think that's a sign of a really good winning mentality and good team who's really sure of themselves.
You hear coaches talk about it, just another game, just another day, but it's interesting from your point of view that actually is an effective way of doing things and like approaching things.
Yeah, and that's not always easy to do that. I think when people say, you know, it is just another game of football, which is the truth, it really is, but there's sometimes more meaning to that game of football, and I also don't think that's a bad thing that you take that emotion to a game. Everyone deals with emotions differently, and I guess again, as I've got older, I've dealt with moments and emotions very different to maybe the way I used to, and yeah, absolutely, it is just two teams going out to play football, but sometimes what's attached to that game means that a little bit more. So your emotions that day might be a little bit different, and that's okay.
Now, I'm sure you don't get to enjoy all these highs without also overcoming a lot of challenges, setbacks, injuries. Are you able to share with people watching a little bit about some of the low points, maybe some of those challenges? I know you touched on moving abroad and how that had its challenges as well.
Yeah, and similar to the positives, they all come in different ways. I think when I say challenge, when I say negatives, I see it now as a positive. I've tried to flip that on its head a little bit, but in the moment it was a big challenge, and I'd moved from England to France, obviously. I didn't speak the language, the culture was completely different, the food, and it's crazy because I say that out loud now, I almost want to laugh at myself because what an incredible opportunity, but in the moment it was the hardest thing I've ever done, and I questioned my decision every single day. Why did I do this? I was playing for the best team in the world at the time. And I didn't want to be there. That's the God's honest truth. I really didn't want to be there. I wanted to be in a comfort zone, at home where I had everything easy. Training was 5 minutes down the road. I could come home to family. But I don't think you grow in that space. I think you learn a lot about yourself when you're challenged. And by the end of it, honestly, it was the best decision I ever made, because I had to go out and learn French. I had to embrace in different cultures and different ways of life and different way of learning and different mentalities, because they are different over there and they do speak to you differently. And I learned so much about myself off the pitch more than on the pitch, if I'm being honest.
What are those things that you learn about yourself?
Resilience, and being okay on my own. Being comfortable with being in my own thoughts, because at times that's a scary place to be, as we all know as humans. Sitting in an apartment for best part of 22 hours a day by yourself is kind of scary sometimes, and on a day off I used to get scared by them because I didn't know what I was going to do.
What am I going to do with my day?
Exactly, and people are like, you're in France, go and see all these beautiful places, and of course that is the obvious thing to do and the right thing to do, but I was so like, I am here to play football and that's it, and once I let go of that a little bit, and like I said, I put myself out there, I learned French, I've tried to speak a little bit more and make mistakes because really no one cared. I thought they cared more than they did. Then I just felt like, okay, this is where I belong now, and the sun's out, what more can I want? No, it was a great experience, and that was more from a cultural point of view, I suppose. So I've had injuries, and really challenging ones. The obvious one is the knee injury just before the Euros, which again was probably the first major injury I've had. I've had surgeries before, but not as serious as this one, and what was on the line was so huge, of maybe not making it back for the Euros. That scared me a lot, and there was days when I really didn't think I was going to make it. So again, I have to push through some mental barriers and a lot of pain to play in that Euros, and now obviously you can say it was worth every single bit, but it has its consequences further down the line, you know, and my body's changed a lot. I've had to adapt so much to different things and recovery, and so again, as you get older, you learn about your body and yourself, and that just comes with mental challenges.
Can you just share with us kind of your hopes and aspirations for the future, because you've achieved an awful lot, but tell us a bit about what still drives you and what your hopes are for the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously in a stage of my career now where the years are becoming less than more, but I still feel like I'm in a really good place within my body now, within my mind. Until that day I wake up and I don't want to win, I'll continue to play football, and that day doesn't feel like it's any time close, because I put this kit on every single day and I walk in here and I have nothing but drive to achieve something every day to make this club successful, from a personal point of view and from a team point of view. And same with England, you know, that World Cup is there in my mind, and okay, maybe sometimes not as more present as the club football because it's day to day, but like I said, I'm so driven to win, And the moment that feeling is lost in my gut and my belly, then I'm not going to stick around and take someone's place that needs it, that should have it more than I should. And I'll be happy with what I've done, but I'm not quite there yet.
She's not there yet.
She's not there yet.